Hey, good day here today, and we got a short week with the Thanksgiving Day holiday right now, but markets have been pretty flat. But this can be a fairly volatile week, and that's one reason why we always encourage guys to have some open orders in above the market to make some cash sales in case we do get some volatility. So follow along with our report when we make some adjustments that way. But here on this week's webinar, we're just going to go through a few things here, kind of a random out there on what sticks out. The first is this the commitment of traders report showing on corn, and we just had a spec sell about 55,000 contracts this past week. And what we find really interesting here is they were large sellers, and yet the corn market was down less than a penny in that time frame. When they sold off heavily this past summer, the same amount, we had futures down 50, 60 cents that same week. So the lack of downward pressure in corn was the spec selling tells us there's commercial demand underneath this market. It may not be on the export front, but we are seeing it domestically with a firm basis level. The other thing we'd want to point out is when you look at the spec position where it's been at the last couple of years, we're getting into the lower end of the range in here right now. So on the corn side of it, good commercial support. If we're going to break down in here right now, the specs have really got to liquidate out of their positions. As we look at our next commitment of treasury report, this is the wheat market. And what we want to highlight here, specs have basically got their biggest net short position in wheat in the last 3 years. And yet they've continued to sell here through the summer months, the fall months, yet we're holding above the summer low. Again, that shows to us that there's some commercial support in the market. If you look at a futures market that could be vulnerable on a short covering rally in the grain room, you really got to gravitate towards the soft red winter wheat market. If there's a spark out there, you could really get some spec short covering. So now here on Thanksgiving week, every year on a report, we highlight the cost of a Thanksgiving Day dinner and what the Farm Bureau puts out. And as you can see, in 2022, we're looking at around $64 compared to $53 in 2021. And in 2020, it was down at $46.90. What's important to realize about 2020 at $46.90 is that was actually a 10-year low on the price of a Thanksgiving Day dinner. And so, we've had a big push up here recently, but 2020 was a low year. We had low commodity prices, low energy prices, and just coming off of COVID. So how is a breakdown in here when we look at some different components compared to last year to this year? On corn, last year at this time, we had corn at $5.87. Now it's at $6.60. You can see meal prices are up 15%. When you get to crude oil, we had a big jump there, up over 20%. The turkey itself is about a 25% increase from a year ago. Overall, though, you're looking at that dinner cost around 20% higher. Our point with this is energy really has a big deal to do with what consumer prices are at. Now, here, as we look at some final thoughts and want to wrap up today, we really believe the energy market is a key on what inflation is going to be as we go down the road. If we can get crude oil down and gas prices and diesel prices, inflation is going to become under control. There's a lot of talk right now about the economy slowing down and potentially heading into a recession. I think the one thing to really watch is the home market, the real estate market. On a point here is if you had bought a $400,000 home a year ago at 3.5%, your monthly payment would be just shy of $1,800, a month. Now that same $400,000 home at a 7% interest on a 30-year mortgage, you're looking at that monthly payment just shy of $2,700. $800-900 a month more just to own that same home. This is where you're probably got a concern with on the economy slowing down is when you look over on the construction side of it or the home ownership or home values in here right now. And getting back to the grains, we just kind of see a sideways, maybe a little firmer market in here in the near term. Hey, wrap up harvest in a safe way and have a great Thanksgiving.